And this girl's telling me like, boom, this is your future. This is what's happening. And I could only really blame myself. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm in my robe right now. I did one eye off of camera already. I usually like to do this. I really didn't know what kind of look I was going for, so I was like, let me really pay full focus attention on this eye. I really just wanted to do something really girly and fun, and I look crazy. Today's video, I'm doing kind of like a story time while getting ready. I've done a couple other story times or like chatting with you guys, and you guys seem to enjoy it, and today's story time is a little bit like, it's literally giving me the chills just talking about it because I didn't want to really touch base on this at all. I guess you could say I instantly regretted it the next day. I was like, what? Why did I do this? By all means, I'm not saying that if anybody does this that you're a bad person, because everybody has their own beliefs. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and do my makeup and chat with you guys about the time. Literally, it was days ago where I basically got my future read. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started with the eyes. I'm gonna try to talk as I do my makeup, obviously. I'm gonna go in with my Revolution Be Bella Pro palette. I'm actually just using one shadow off this palette, and it's right here, boom. So I've already primed my eyes. I went ahead and used like a concealer, and I'm literally just gonna pop this on the crease, and this is gonna be like my transition color. But let's go ahead and begin with this story time. So a few days ago, I went to an event. It was your typical event, you know, it was fun and everything, but the only thing is they had a medium there. And you know, right when I get there, my friend's like, oh my God, we have a medium. You should totally get a reading with her. And like right off the bat, I was like, oh girl, like I don't mess with stuff like that. And she was like, girl, it's fine. By the way, I'm not like blaming anybody, like anybody. I take full responsibility. It was totally like me. I voluntarily was like, I'm gonna do this. So the whole event is going on and we're having a great time. People are, you know, getting read by this medium, but me and my cousin are just so convinced like we are not going to do this. It wasn't even something that I was like, should I do it? I was never attracted to anything like that, ever. I really like literally, you know, parents say like, eso no es de Dios, you know? And, you know, everybody was telling me their experience with this medium. I was like, oh, maybe she's not gonna tell me my future exactly. She's just gonna read my energy. I'm done with this palette. We're gonna now move on to the James Charles palette, which is the one that I used for my eye. I'm just gonna go in with a hot pink shadow. I hope it's not confusing when I'm mentioning like the products I'm using and then I jump back to the story, because I am actually really trying to fill you in on the products I'm using. But yeah, the whole night I was very convinced that, you know, there's a psychic or medium, whatever they call it, and she was there, but I was like, whatever about it. I didn't, like, I was 100% sure I was gonna walk out of that event and not go through it. And then by the end of the event, my friend like reminds me like, you guys, you should really do it. My friend's like a really like sweet ass person. She also is religious. So I was like, well, this girl has like basically the same beliefs as me. She was just explaining to me, you know, like she ain't a witch or anything, you know, it's just like this lady that like is just gifted with this. My friend literally works for the brand, so I'm like hanging out with her way after the event is even over. I remember we were in line because there was a line for this medium, and my cousin wanted to do a reading. We were just waiting for his turn, but obviously this medium took like, you know, 15 to a half an hour on each person. I was just mainly waiting in line because I was waiting for my cousin. So this whole time I'm like, okay, so it's like not as bad as I think. I'm really thinking that this lady is gonna like really read my future, open me like a book. And for some reason, you know, people telling me their experiences. And once it was my cousin's turn, I was very curious. Like I almost wanted to sit next to him, like, and hear everything they were talking about. God, I'm like talking so much, I'm forgetting to do my makeup. I'm gonna take this color right here. So as I'm in line and now my cousin is like basically being read, I am just talking to my friend and she's just telling me like, you know what, you don't have to do it, Myra, you know, I respect if you don't want to. At this point I'm like so convinced like maybe it's not what I think it is. Maybe she's not a witch. Maybe she's not gonna be so exact with telling me the future. More so she's just gonna read like my energy. At that state of mind where I was so curious and I was so convinced, it wasn't like anything like what I thought that I see in movies. So my cousin is done. I believe now it's my friend's turn. So my cousin was already like having me mind blown. And he was like, no, you don't get it. Like, she is like so good. Like, I feel so at peace. I feel so good about myself. And I was like, this is not at all what I'm thinking. Like, this whole time I've thought about like mediums, you know, not necessarily anything against them, but I just didn't want to like mess with it. Like, this whole time I thought it was bad to get a reading. We're gonna go in with this deep purple. So my friend is now like finishing up her reading. I am now like, it's literally my turn. And like I said earlier, the event was over already. At this point, we were just hanging out. The people behind the brand were like, oh girl, like there's no rush. It's fine. Like, if like she could stay here for as long as like she has to. I like stand up and I'm right there, like right in front of the lady. She got like stuff on the table. She got cards. And the way that she was reading people were through like teacups, because the theme of this event was a tea party. I definitely got a little creeped out when I saw the stuff, but I went in with an open mind, thinking like, you know what, like this girl's just blessed. She's not like a bad person. And I remember telling her like, I've never done this before. I don't know why I'm scared. I feel like I don't want to do this, but then I do. She completely respected my decision. After a few seconds of thinking, I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I sit down, I put my stuff down. I was just like, let's see what this is about. Let's see, like maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe this is not even like a legit medium. Like maybe mediums aren't even a thing, because you hear so many stories that mediums are not like real, you know? I already feel like these eyes are completely different, but I'm not gonna give up yet. So I'm gonna take my concealer and we're gonna cut the lid from inner corner to outer corner. But okay, let's get to the interesting part, because it's very, very interesting. Very interesting to say the least. I'm gonna go ahead and take glitter glue and we're gonna work in sections. And the glitter I'm gonna use is Lily by Violet Voss. So going back to my story. Whew. I say yes that I am doing it. And as I say yes, I actually do feel calm. I'm like, you know what? I got this. What the hell happened? We'll fix that after. She basically just tells me, so what are your plans for this year? And I'm like, okay, I don't want to say a lot. I'm a little skeptical too. I'm like, if I tell her my plans, she's gonna want to work around it, you know? So I'm like, well, you know, this year, like, I'm really, I am just feeling a lot more motivated. And she like looks at me and she smiles. She's like, okay, well, let's start, you know? Oh my God, this fallout is insane. I can't stand when I get glitter on my eye. I believe she starts off by, and I really wish I could remember word by word of what she was telling me, but she starts off by telling me, you came out with something recently. And I was like, I came out with like merch recently. Like, that's the only thing I could think about. She's like, oh, good, okay. She's like, keep doing it. Okay, I think I'm done with my eyelid. So now that I have my eye done, I like to go in with the dark color I used again, and I'm gonna go over and it's gonna kind of define it more. So right after that, she goes on to tell me this, and this thing that she told me, I don't know why, I felt like when you see, you know, things like this on TV and you see people's reaction like, oh my God, I just got the chills. Like, how did you know that? This was that kind of moment. She goes on to tell me, she's like, do you have any twins in your family? I'm like, like literally, like I remember telling her like I'm a twin. I don't know why, like I really, as soon as she said that, it spooked me to like, okay, this girl might know what she's doing. Like, I find it crazy that it's just such a huge coincidence that I'm a twin and like somehow she was just getting like twin, you know what I mean? She goes on to tell me, do you have any trips coming up really, really soon? And I'm thinking like, I have a last minute trip that literally just less than a week ago we found out about. We're going to a trip for our birthday. So I tell her, I'm like, we have a last minute trip literally in a few days. And she's like, oh, it's gonna be a great trip. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Enjoy it. She's like, there's actually another trip right after that you're gonna have. And I'm thinking like, another trip right after that. I'm like, what is it? You know? And me being curious, I was like, a trip right after that. And she said that trip was gonna be 4 days. I was like, do you know what kind of trip it is? And she's like, it looks like a business trip, but you're gonna have some time for yourself to enjoy too. And I'm thinking like, I haven't gotten invited to any business trip. Like, if I actually do get a business trip, because I have nothing, like literally nothing in mind right now, as of now, like I don't have any plans to go on another trip. Mind you, my like reading wasn't that long because one, she knew I was like uncomfortable, and two, like literally I was the last one and the event was literally already over. I literally want to say I was probably with her for like 15 minutes the most. And then she told me, do you do anything like public speaking? I was like, no. I'm like, speeches. I'm like, I don't do public speaking, you know? So anyways, the point is she told me I would do some kind of public speaking, and I was like, I don't like do that. And keep in mind, like from what I know, when people tell you certain things, like nothing is set in stone. Keep that in mind. So everything that she's telling me, one, first of all, I don't even know if this is real. And second of all, like it's not written in stone. You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, I just want to believe that like she just told me this, and like, but I want to live my life and just act like I never heard it because I already do regret it. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my liner, and this is where it gets tricky. I'm going to do a thin liner and I'm going to apply like shadow over it and kind of smoke it out, and I'll tell you guys while I'm doing this, but oof, girl, I got a lot of fallout going on. You guys are gonna get really spooked when I tell you this. Well, it's not like spooky, wow. It's actually crazy. So she goes on to tell me like, why do I see babies? And I got the chills. And I told her, I'm like, what do you mean babies? She's like, yeah, like I see a little girl. I'm like, what? And then I tell her, I'm like, I actually like, I'm not trying right now, but I want to start trying after my sister's wedding. And she's like, yeah, you're going to conceive this year. And I'm like, I can't, like, mind you, I went from thinking she was going to read my vibes to she's literally telling me I'm getting pregnant. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, she just told me I'm getting pregnant. If this is real, is she like ruining the surprise for me? You know what I mean? And I'm so in shock. And she's like, it's going to be a girl. You're having a girl. And I'm like, you guys, I went from like 0 to 100 quick. Like in my mind, I was so mind blown. I was like, I hope that this is not true, because if it is, she literally just told me my gender. Like I said, obviously it's my fault. But like in that moment, I was like, if it's true, like I know the gender of my child. I live for a surprise. I want my gender reveal. I want it all. And this girl's telling me like, boom, this is your future. This is what's happening. And I could only really blame myself, because what else is a medium for, right? Like she's just doing her job. So yeah, she goes on to tell me, I see this little girl, a beautiful little girl with curly hair. Like she's describing this girl to me. As I'm like in my head, like, oh my God, I can't believe she just told me the gender. Because at this point I'm like believing her. I'm like, oh my gosh, she just told me the gender. Like, why did she tell me the gender? Like I would have wished for that to be like something that I get surprised with in the future, you know? But then again, I'm like so in shock because she's describing this little girl and I'm like, oh my God. Oh, I mean, I'm telling y'all right now, what she's telling me is crazy, but what I like think right now, as of right now, is like, you know what? God only knows my future. Nobody knows my future. Okay. That's like how I feel at the moment. But as she's telling me, obviously I'm like so in shock. She goes on to tell me she's just waiting for you. She's waiting for you and she's ready when you are. There's no rush, but she's ready for you. And I'm like, what? Like, how does a little girl even attach to me? Like, I haven't even had her yet or anything. She then tells me, and this is like really, really mind blowing. You know what? I'm going to finish my eyeliner because I'm not going to finish it. Like, I'm just going to do my liner really quick off camera because, girl, I will talk for years. Okay, so I've already done my liner and I've applied black shadow over it. Now what I'm doing is grabbing purple shadow and I'm actually blending so I could fade from black to purple. I have a lot of fallout going on, but we're going to clean this up after. That's the only thing that I don't like about glitter looks. They're beautiful, but the fallout is crazy. I'm going to grab a little bit more liner just to intensify the line a little bit, darken it up. Now I'm going to grab some mascara. I'm going to grab a little bit of oil and I'm going to drop this on my face. Oh my God, this fallout is just crazy. These are the Bibella lashes in Wonderlust. I know y'all are waiting for what I'm about to tell you, but a girl's just really making sure she got everything ready. So I'm gonna take the Ginger Vitamin C Serum Shot. This is supposed to brighten. Where did I leave off? I took a really long break right now. Here's the like crazy part that I was like, what? I didn't even know how to act when she told me this. She told me that this soul was very, very attached to me because in our past life, she was my mother and now she's gonna be my daughter. Like if I do have a daughter one day, I would probably tell her like this little story, like, oh my God, guess what? Like I was told this, but I don't know if it's like true, you know, because I already feel weirded out that I did this. And even like in the drive back home, I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, like if this is a soul that I once was very close to in my past life, like that's crazy, you know? But then I go back to me like, oh my God, like don't believe in any of that, you know? Let's see, we're gonna mix foundations. We're gonna go in with the Makeup Forever White 325. This foundation is definitely a little darker. What I'm gonna do is just take my concealer. This is in the shade Vanilla, and I like to actually mix these shades. And because it's a concealer, I get that extra coverage. You know, a lot of times I'm curious about, you know, our past life, if it's even true. And for her telling me that, I couldn't believe it. I remember telling my husband on our way back home, like, you know what, this was a big mistake of me. If it is true that this soul is attached to me because in a past life she was my mother, and now like the tables have turned, now I'm gonna be her mother. I just thought it was beautiful. It doesn't end there. She then does the teacup trick and she does her little thing and she's like, oh, you're gonna have twins. I'm like, excuse me? Honestly, this is something I get all the time. Like with my friends, they always tell me like, well, you're a twin, you know, usually it skips generation, but it's very possible for you to have twins. And it's always been in the back of my mind. It's a lot to process when someone's telling you that, because one, if you're going in with a mindset of me, you know, you don't know if any of this is real. And then you start thinking, what if it is real? And then when she did her little trick again, she was like, oh, you're having a boy and a girl. She's like, the girl I was talking about, she's gonna be born first, and then your son. It almost felt like if I was in the doctor's office, already knowing I'm pregnant, and the doctor telling me, congratulations, you're having twins. But we're gonna go in with Vanilla now, and we're going to just highlight the T-zone because a girl is looking a little crazy. And I feel like she was very spot on in certain things that at that moment I was like, this must be real. So I definitely was freaking out, to say the least. And she told me I was gonna need a long break after I give birth, a lot of recovery. And I'm just thinking like, yeah, of course, if I'm having twins, honey, whew. As far as I know, when my mom had us, she struggled, okay? Already with one baby, it's hard. I was literally speechless and I couldn't wait for this to be over so I could tell my husband. He was like right behind me. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and set my face. I'm gonna use the Beauty Bakery Flour Setting Powder. I've heard a lot about the brand and they recently sent me products. I'm still confused about what she meant of me having twins at first, because she was very specific about the little girl and how she looked, but then she told me I was having twins. So it makes me wonder why she was so specific about the girl and not the boy. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do a little bit of my face off camera. I'm like freaking out. I feel like I look hella orange. I'm gonna go back in with the hot pink. I gotta keep on talking about this damn story time. So basically right after she told me about the twins, I was so in shock. I believe that's literally how our conversation ended. She told me I was having twins. Okay, it looks like I have a pink eye right now. By the way, you guys, my sister and her man are making slime next door and they're listening to music. So if you guys hear anything, it's them. And then basically the conversation went on with this year is my year and to just do anything I want to do, that anything I want to accomplish, I'm going to. She was just very, very positive about this year, which made me feel good. And I'm not gonna lie, like she was such a nice human being. Like I literally didn't get any bad vibes off her. We're gonna go in with this one. Like as soon as we were done, I just remember telling my cousin and friend like how crazy that was. And I'm not gonna lie, like my husband, as soon as I told him about this little girl and that we might be having twins, like his face was so lit up. Like he looked so happy. He didn't agree at all with what I did. Like he's completely against that, but he looked so happy. So like for a moment, literally that whole night, I thought my experience was very, very beautiful, because right after that, I was feeling very, very happy. You know, I was like, oh my God, am I really getting pregnant? Am I really having twins? Is this little girl really attached to me already? I was just thinking everything. And I remember like the whole car ride, I was like, oh my God. I get to my sister's place. I'm like telling my brother about it and he's like crying because he thought it was so beautiful that in a past life, she was my mother. But then, like, you know what? I wasn't able to sleep at night that I had done this, because for me, like, I took a lot of pride in not ever doing stuff like that, you know? And I know to this, some people that are like really open to stuff like that might think like I'm overreacting, and I completely respect other people's beliefs. It's just, you know, for me, like, it was just something to never, ever, ever mess with. The next day, I was like really still thinking about it. Like, I was getting paranoid of it. And then, you know, I tell my mom. My mom wasn't like angry. She was just like, oh my God, that's so cute that she said that. But there's reasons why you should like not know the future. Like, God should only know your plans. I don't know if to believe in stuff like that or not. I'm just saying I 100% completely regret this experience. Nothing against even the person that like did this, because she completely respected the fact that at first I didn't want to, and then my mom started telling me like, oh, that just opens doors to other things, and I was like, I from the bottom of my heart do regret this. The experience was definitely crazy hearing all this, and even if she's right or she's wrong, I'm just gonna go ahead and live my life from now on, not caring to know, and I'm just gonna let whatever happens happen. That's just the best way that I'm trying to look at this situation. If I really 100% believe that all of this was happening, I probably wouldn't even be talking about it on camera. I don't think a human being can know exactly 100% everything that's gonna happen in the future for you. So for me, you know, who knows? My first child might be a boy, or only a girl, or who knows? I might have twins. I'm taking the really deep purple and applying this on my lash line. I think the eyes are done. Should I add a little bit of inner corner highlight to the eye? I think I should. Now I'm gonna take the Pixie Liquid Fairy Lights in the color Crystalline. I'm gonna take this in the inner corner. That was like a little glitter in it. So now moving on to my lips, I'm gonna take the Jada's matte liquid lipstick in the color Love Me, and it's a little dark, so we're just gonna use this also to lip line, but we're gonna add something over. This smells so good. I'm actually gonna take the Dominique Cosmetics lipstick in the color Pink Lemonade. Yeah, this is definitely gonna tone it down a little bit. So I think we're done with the face. I'm gonna go ahead and set this. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry. I'm gonna get myself a little bit more put together. A girl is done. She's beat to the gods. But yeah, y'all, this is pretty much the finished look. I actually really like how this look turned out. I feel like it's very, very girly. But that pretty much completes this makeup look. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I just want to say overall with this whole story time, it was definitely an experience for me. But, you know, after a few days went by and we are here today, I definitely regret it, just because, you know, I grew up being told that it just wasn't something I should ever go to. I feel like if you have the same mentality as me, obviously you would like understand like feeling some kind of disappointment, but that was my experience and it was a learning lesson. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all are not like creeped out about this, because I know like people that genuinely are against this are probably gonna be like, why did you do this? Because I know people, like some people are very, very, very against this. I questioned myself the same thing, girl. Moral of the story is, when you stand for something, stand for it for as long as you can, girl, because it was definitely something that I do regret. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I promise y'all I will not do this again. I love y'all so much, and I will see you guys in the next one.